Well, hello! I didn't realize we got this bad boy in yet. Oh, hey! I didn't see you there. It's about Princess Marketing. What am I doing? You know, I was heading upstairs, make sure Patty's okay. And then I stumbled across this bad boy, new Lars Fire Tube Boiler. What's that? You've never heard of this brand new Lars floor standing fire tube boiler before? You know what? I think you guys want to take a look, and I think I want to show you. Come on, let's take a closer look.
Alright guys, before we take a closer look at this beautiful Lars residential boiler, I figured now would be a good time for a reminder on the new energy regulations coming up. So on July 1st, 2023, you're no longer going to be able to retrofit residential atmospheric boilers. They're going to have to be condensing. And it depends on the date of manufacture. So boilers manufactured after that date have to be condensing. So wouldn't be a bad idea to stock up on some atmospherics. And we got a bunch with Lars. And so that's from residential, that's right from the government of Canada. And I printed off a quick thing too, so you can see right from NRCan. So just scroll over even on both columns. On that date, July 1st, 2023, 90% efficient or higher. And that's for residential. So that's already gonna be a pain changing all that venting, but it's gonna be even bigger in commercial. So you can see right here, right from NRCan as well, for commercial boilers, on January 1st, 2025, boilers are gonna have to be 90% or greater. So that's gonna change a lot of things. I just figured now would be a good time for a reminder for you guys with customers with atmospheric boilers that maybe might look into getting some replacements, help them out, so they're not forced to get a condensing and change all that venting. But anyway, let's finally take a closer look at the Lars residential fire tube boiler here. All right, let's go take a closer look at this new Lars FT boiler. So as we walk up, I was kind enough to take the front cover off for us. So one thing they did with this boiler is they put all the connections on the top. So it has a nice small footprint. So you can see here, we got boiler supply, boiler return. On the very top, they got a spot for the relief valve, auto air vent, and a future plug in case you want to add an additional safety. We got gas connection, a nice boiler pressure gauge. And if this was the combi, there would be a hot and cold and a recirc connection, but this is the heat only. And then we have our venting, so our air intake and exhaust. And just one thing to note too on the intake, we do have a built-in screen, so you can actually remove for cleaning. That's a nice feature that came with this boiler. And then let's look a bit on the inside. Here we got the controller, we'll touch on that right away. And then just look on the inside here, you can see we got our fire tube heat exchanger, we got our gas valve, and the air intake back there. And then we have our updated control board. And then yeah, boiler obviously comes with the boiler pump, our drain valve. Back there we can see our condensate traps. You don't need to add an additional trap when you're piping up the condensate. Then the star to show what they did for this floor standing FT boiler is it has a built-in low loss header. So it's kind of like having a cheat code for the boiler. Makes everything nice and balanced. So as you can see here, the return water comes into the low loss, then out back through the heat exchanger, and then on the way out it goes back through the low loss and out to the system. So the thing's very beautiful. And just note, when it comes to the combi boiler, the only difference is it acts as a mini indirect tank, and then there's a coil inside which is for the domestic hot water, and that's what heats up the combi water there. So anyway, that was a close look up at the new floor standing FT boiler. Now we'll touch on a bit of the controls here. Hey guys, before we get into the controls, just sitting here with my buddy Lars, just wanted to point out too that this boiler here, the heating only and the combi, both come at 199,000 BTUs. Has 10-to-1 turn down, 95% efficient, has a 10-year warranty on the heat exchanger, 5 years on the parts. And as we can see behind me right there, when it comes to the combi, it puts out 5.2 GPM and a 7-degree rise. So just a few other things too I just want to touch on before we go through the controllers here. So now that we did that, let's have a little look around here. All right everybody, let's take a look at the controller here with the new Lars Fire Tube floor standing boiler. Keep in mind this is the same controller as the wall hung fire tube. So what we're going to do is hold down the top left button here, and that will take us into the installer parameters. And there we go. So you can mess around here, that's where you set your parameters. So just for fun, let's set the out to reset curve. So what we're going to do now is let's go to number 4, which is OH, which is outdoor high. Factory set is 68 degrees Fahrenheit, but I'm feeling crazy. Let's take it to 69. So that means when the outdoor temperature reaches 69 degrees, it'll run the lowest temperature setting for the water. Let's move to the next one. 5 is outdoor low. Factory set at 30 degrees Fahrenheit, which is below freezing. Let's just turn that down to 14 degrees Fahrenheit, sure. So when the outdoor temperature reaches 14 degrees, it's going to run the highest water setting on here. So let's keep going, everybody. Keep it nice and simple. So 6 is the number CH for central heating high. That means the highest water temperature output this boiler will put out is 180 degrees. Let's skip that real quick. Let's go to central heating low. So the lowest temperature the water will coming out of the boiler will be 130. Let's change that down to, let's say, 90 degrees. Let's pretend we're dealing with the in-floor slab concrete. There we go. CL is 9, so that means the lowest temperature coming out of the boiler will be 90. So let's go back to high. You don't want 180 degrees in your concrete, no way. So let's say we want the highest temperature coming out of the boiler is 120. A little more, bear with me. There we go. So there, when you have your outdoor temperature is the highest, it'll run the lowest setting, and then when your outdoor temperature is the lowest, it'll run the highest setting. So we just set the outdoor reset curve, and then let's just check a couple more here. So number 8 is OF for off. So warm weather shutdown, factor set at 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So when the outdoor temperature gets nice and hot, it won't run any more heating because it's not needed. And now let's just check one more here. Wait till we hit the letter ST. There we go. ST for storage tank. So that means if you have an indirect water heater, this boiler is going to send out 180 degrees to the indirect to heat that water up. So 180 degrees, nice and hot, factor set. So anyway, that's just a quick run through of some of the control settings on the Laars fire tube boilers. We'll set that out and we're programmed. So let's touch on a couple more things here, everybody, and we'll wrap this up for you. Well, I hope you enjoyed seeing so far what we have for the new floor standing fire tube boiler from Laars. There's just one last thing I wanted to cover, and so some plumbers ask about servicing the heat exchanger and keeping it nice and clean. And so inside that boiler, I didn't feel like ripping anything apart. So what I did do is I ripped out another heat exchanger from another boiler. So I'm going to show you guys what they look like up close inside and how Laars recommends cleaning them. I know what you're thinking, Tyler, were you supposed to rip that heat exchanger out of another boiler? Let's not talk about that right now, but let's have a look inside this and I'll show you what the fire tubes look like inside. Alright guys, so here's the heat exchanger I ripped out, and don't mind some of the background noise. I'm in the warehouse here. So what's going to happen when it comes time for cleaning this is you're going to have to remove the blower assembly. So this is where the gas and the air come in. And please note, I forgot to mention earlier, that all the boilers come standard with a propane conversion kit. It's a matter of just changing the orifice. But anyway, so I've taken the liberty of preparing this. You just take the blower assembly off. Keep in mind, the burner would be here, so this is what you would see. And that would collect a lot of the shavings from any venting and spread the flame out. But anyway, let's look inside what a fire tube would look like. So as you can see, it's a fire tube boiler, meaning the tubes. So actually the flames and the product's combustion go down the tubes, and that's what heats up the water. So it's a matter of keeping these things clean for servicing. So what I'm going to do is show you how to clean these to keep these boilers running nice and beautiful for you. And this is what Laars recommends. So here we go. Alright guys, so what Laars recommends to keep those fire tubes nice and clean and operating properly is flushing them with white vinegar. So what they do is expose the fire tubes and flush it with white vinegar, and make sure you keep flushing until the vinegar comes nice and clear at the bottom. So as you can see here, I got this one removed, and you can see the outlet on the bottom. That is where the condensate comes out for these boilers. So let me just put this back here, everybody. So what you do is on the top, you open it up, and you want to get a clear line of sight, but I'm just doing a video here, and like I said, clear white vinegar. She's good. So what you do is, you just pour it. Obviously you're going to have more, and this is just for demonstration purposes, but you can see the vinegar goes right through the fire tubes because that's where the condensation collects at the bottom. And you want to keep flushing until it comes nice and clear. So this is not to scale, but flush it with the white vinegar, goes through. Make sure disconnect your condensate into a pail. It's coming in nice and clear. And then make sure you hit all the tubes, and when it comes out nice and clear, it's nice and clean for another heating season for you. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video with the new floor standing Laars fire tube boiler, and you guys keep it classy out there, and I'm sure I'll see you again.